All right. Welcome to the Crushing the Preclinical Years course. This is a free course that I have put together for you so that you can learn how to absolutely crush medical school. This is the intro lecture, so let's just jump right into it. We'll kind of go through what this course is, why I made it, and yeah, so let's go to it. So why did I make this free course? Okay, because I feel like students just need a lot of help. Okay, there is a lot of noise when it comes to studying in medical school, right? How do you do well in medical school? And a lot of times students will turn to resources like Reddit or SDN or even your instructors, and they're all, right, for the most part, with the exception maybe Reddit and Student Doctor Network, they're pretty well-meaning, right? Your instructors are very well-meaning, but in terms of Reddit and Student Doctor Network, you just don't get the greatest information there. Sometimes there's little nuggets of gold sprinkled throughout those forums, but in general, you just don't get the greatest information, and sometimes it's kind of a pretty toxic environment. So I wanted to make a way for students to get some good information on how to study in med school, how to do well on boards from somebody that did those things and that's not there to belittle you or tell you that there's only one way to do things. And then your instructors, right? They have the best of intentions typically. They are fantastic. They really want to do that to train the next generation of doctors. The trouble is most of them are PhDs and they've never taken the step 1 or the level 1. And they can look at outlines and stuff all day long, but until you've taken it and you've actually immersed yourself in studying for it and taking it, you just don't understand it like those that do. And same thing for any of the physician instructors in your medical school. If they're MDs or DOs, it may be quite some time since they've taken a board exam, and things change rapidly, right? Things always change quickly in that realm. So there's a lot of differing opinions and a lot of noise out there. And so instead of just posting this to one of these forums, like Reddit or SDN, I wanted to make these videos for you to watch, for you to see kind of what I did, for us to go through that together, to talk about the resources I used and how I used them. And then honestly, the last reason that I wanted to make this free course is that my other course, CPM OMM, has had incredible support. It's a paid course that does OMM review. And so since it's been so successful and such a great thing, I wanted to really give back to those that are behind me in the process, because that's what it's all about, right? Is giving back to those and teaching those that are right behind you and what you're doing, right? So right now, as I record this, I'm a resident, and I want to teach the med students. I want to teach you guys how to get through med school and be successful, because it's expensive, it's time consuming, and I've had some friends that have failed, and honestly, it's a tough thing when people fail tests or fail classes. So I really want to help you to avoid those things. So this course, what does it focus on? It will focus on the preclinical years, right? Years 1 and 2 in med school. Eventually, I will likely create a course that focuses on years 3 and 4. That one will also be free. I don't intend on charging for that one. Honestly, a lot of the courses I make from here on out, I don't really intend on charging for. Anyways, so this one will be the preclinical years. It'll be really focused on DO students, right? Because that's what I am a DO. It can be used by MD students because there's a lot of course overlap between the two schools. But I'm focusing on DO students because that's what I was. I am a DO. I'm kind of partial to that, I guess. And honestly, the focus is really just helping you absolutely crush your preclinical years and your boards, right? I should have put that on here, and the boards. I'm not going to spell that out because it'd be terrible, but plus boards, right? The preclinical years and boards, those are the two things that this course is really focused on, and the two things that I want to help you just absolutely crush. So what's in this course? We'll go through how to study for classes, right? The resources that I used, how I used them, how I approached each class, the things that I found helpful. We'll go through those types of things. And that's for years 1 and 2. And like I said, there will probably be another course that talks about years 3 and 4, but this one is just about years 1 and 2. And then how to study for boards, right? So quick backstory on me, I scored the 97th percentile on the COMLEX. I scored very high on the USMLE. I think it was the 92nd percentile on the USMLE. I get a lot of questions from students asking how I did that, right? I've done a few kind of ask me anything presentations, and that's always the first place we go, is how did I score that high? So we'll go over how I did that. We'll go over the resources, the tips. resources that I used and tips that I have about those resources. Um, it's a lot easier than you think. It requires a lot of hard work, but the strategy is pretty simple. So my background, just a little bit, so you know kind of who's teaching you. Um, I was a very average pre-med. I had a decent GPA. I think it was a 3.5, 3.6 GPA. Um, and my MCAT score, I took it twice, and both times it was like right smack dab in the 50th percentile. I had no idea how to study for MCAT. I never really studied for undergrad. I just kind of coasted through undergrad. Um, and then when I got to med school, it's a super long story as to how this happened. But basically, my wife was not super happy with our living situation. We paid for the rental place before we ever saw it, and so we got there, and there were like green and orange walls and stuff in the house, and just not the greatest situation. So she was pretty upset. So I decided that day, then and there, that I was going to destroy med school. Right, I was going to put everything I had into it, and I was going to do my best so that we could go wherever we wanted to for residency. And so I ended up getting a 4.0. Being in the top 10 in my class and scoring in the in the 97th percentile on boards. And basically, my principle that got me there, my method, was that the more I saw something, the better I would know it. Right? It's that old adage of after 10,000 hours of doing something, you're now a professional. Um, the more I saw it, those were more hours doing that thing, and so every time I saw it, I understood it a little bit better. So that was kind of my principle, and I hope this course will really help you to absolutely destroy medical school. I want you to get the residency of your choice. I want you to do well in med school because it's a very competitive environment, and honestly, it's expensive, and you deserve to do whatever you want to do. You shouldn't be pigeonholed into a specialty because you have to because of board scores or grades or whatnot. So let's go through this, and hopefully it will help you do just that.